أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون ونشكره ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فهو مهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين. وأشهد أن نبينا وحبيبنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه الراشدين وسلم عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. اللهم ارزقنا شفاعة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تحرمنا صحبته إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين. وأما بعد عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله. يقول الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المبين: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. ويقول الله تبارك وتعالى: إنما المؤمنون إخوة فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Beloved brothers and sisters in faith, I begin recommending for you, but firstly from my own sinful self, to have the proper awe, the proper regard, and the proper consciousness of Allah Azza wa Jal, meaning having taqwa for Him. He Azza wa Jal commanded in His clear book, the Quran, O you who believe, have taqwa for Allah and be with the truthful people. And He Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, the believers are but one brotherhood. So reconcile the disputes and make peace between your brothers. And have taqwa for Allah in order that you receive divine mercy. Beloved brothers and sisters in faith, in this very short time, this reminder, we like to remind each other of what it means to have healthy love for one's people without going through excess or deficiency. In Islam, virtue is in the wasl, it's in the middle. It's iqtida, it's in the middle. Anything from al-ifrat or tafrit is a demerit, it's bad. Anything that's excessive or anything that is defective or deficient, this is bad. The best of matters in the middle. They are not either al-ifrat nor tafrit. They are no wasl. They're in the middle. A Sahabi, and this hadith is narrated in a number of books. Al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah ta'ala in his Musnad, Ibn Majah in his Sunan, and is strengthened in another hadith, as well authenticate hadith Hassan in Sunan Abi Dawood. But we'll give you the longer version. A Sahabi asked the Prophet alayhi salam, O Messenger of Allah, is it from al-aslabiyya? Is it from blameworthy tribalism? Or we can also say al-aslabiyya can also mean al-unsuriyya, racism. Is it from tribalism, blameworthy tribalism and racism, that a man shows love for his qawm, for his people? فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم لا ولكن من العصبية أن يعين الرجل قومه على الظلم. No, it's not blameworthy that a man shows love for his people, for his tribe, for his ethnic group. It's not blameworthy, no. But it is from asabiya when a man helps his people in a dhulm, in wrongdoing and or oppression, denying other people their human rights, denying other Muslims their hukuk al-ibad, the rights that Allah Ta'ala gave them, and helping your people in wrongdoing or doing wrong to another group of people because they're outside of your group, because they're outside of your qabila, your tribe, outside of your sha'b, or outside of your so-called racial group. This is blameworthy in Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal gave us natural affinity amongst our own groups. He didn't make us all look the same. He didn't give us all the same languages by birth. This was through the hikmah, the divine wisdom of His divine decree. This is by divine design. Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. He Azza wa Jal said, O humankind, surely we created you, Allah speaking in the royal we. We created you from a single male Adam and from a single female Eve. And we made you into different tribes and ethnic groups, or ethnic groups and tribes, lita'arafu, not lita'arafu. We made you in different nations and tribes that you may get to know one another, meaning not to battle and hate each other because of your differences. And the most noble of you with Allah has nothing to do with this lineage, has nothing to do with nasab. Has nothing to do with someone is Arabi or Ajami, Arab or non-Arab, or Ahmar or Aswad, red skin, white man, black man. The most honorable of you with Allah are those who have the most taqwa, the most regard for Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And surely Allah is all-knowing, all aware of this reality. This is an important matter, my brothers and sisters in Islam, on the individual level for our own spiritual health, and it has implications for the community. So we want to start with the individual and then go to the community, or the ummah broadly, and the Jariyah, or the community in America. So we take this from the individual self to the global and bring it back to the local bi'idhnillahi ta'ala in this short period of time. Number one, all the commandments that we are given in the Quran and everything that is indicated, our proximity to fulfilling that relates to our proximity to the pleasure of Allah ta'ala. Likewise, even if we are doing rituals, what we would call libas al-Islam, have a beard, have a name Dawood, do rituals, make hajj, but we fall short on this level of akhlaq, of the inward self. Because the Prophet ﷺ said he came but to perfect makarimu akhlaq. Allah Azza wa Jal praises him for his akhlaq in the Quran. He praises him for what? What did he say about his akhlaq? Khuluqun azim. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says about Al-Habib al-Mustafa Muhammad salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi. And the primary thing that we have to cleanse of our hearts that relates to this al-asabiyya and doing wrong to other people or looking down at others relates to this, the most deadly spiritual disease, the worst of amrad al-qulub, which is al-kibr, arrogance. And when it comes out in our speech and actions, it then becomes takabbur. Kibr is a sifa or an attribute of Iblis. Iblis, we can say, is the original asabi. He's the original tribalist. Iblis is the original racist. When he was commanded, when he was in the company of the angels, and he was amongst them, and they were commanded, all of them prostrated, illa Iblis. What did Iblis say when he was questioned about, and Allah already knew the answer? قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. He said, what? I am better than him. You made me of fire, and you made him of clay. So he made a judgment based upon outward appearance and makeup, thinking himself to be better than Abu Bashar Adam alayhi salam. And Allah Ta'ala said what? He refused, and what? Was takbara, and he was arrogant. He made himself bigger than what he really was. He made himself more important based upon this exterior. And this is when he went from being Iblis to a shaitan, the Satan, the devil. So racism is millah Iblis. It is the pathway of the devil himself. May Allah Azza wa Jal purify our hearts from this. The doctors, the scholars of the inward, talk about remedies for spiritual diseases. And they're broken up into two parts. There are knowledge cures, and then there are action cures. Because this deen is about understanding and implementation. We just don't have a theoretical, we don't have a so-called theoretical religion. Islam is not a religion, it's a deen. It's comprehensive. Of the remedies, it is said that we should contemplate our own creation. From its bidayah to its nihaya, from its beginning to its end. Each and every one of us, it said, were created, in the Quran mentions this, from nutfa, from smelly, sticky semen, nutfa. Which when it's excreted, it's what? It's najis. It's najis. Then what? We become human beings, and every day we are like a sack of feces. Everyone lets out his excrement starting as a baby, and all excrement stinks. And all excrement, when it comes out, feces, is what? Najis. You have to make wudu. For the first, when nutfa is excreted or comes in contact with a woman, is what? You have to make what? Ghusl. Then we all die. And except for al-anbiya, wa-awliya, wa-shuhada. The bodies and the corpse deteriorate. They begin to stink, and maggots eat them. So the beginning starts off unclean. The middle is unclean, and the ending is ritually unclean. And if you look at a skeleton, the untrained eye, you can't tell the fuddle of one skeleton or another. You can't tell if this skeleton is Arabi. You can't tell if this other skeleton is Ajami. You can't tell if this skeleton was rich. You can't tell the skeleton if he is poor. You can't tell the skeleton was a white man. You can't tell the skeleton was a black man. You can't tell the skeleton was Hausa, or you can't tell whether this skeleton was Fulani. No merit. What sticks is our taqwa. So we contemplate this as al-ilaj al-amali. Al-ilaj al-amali, if we feel our hearts inclined to feeling better than the other person, one of the great scholars of our deen, a Fulani man, Sheikh Uthman bin Fodio, also known as Sheikh Uthman bin Fudi al-Maliki, rahimahullah ta'ala, of the area of Hausa land. He had, there was a Khalifa in Africa. Most people know there was an African Khalifa. In Khilafa Sokoto, which is Niger and northern Nigeria. May Allah Ta'ala help our brothers in northern Nigeria. He said, it is to serve people and to humble oneself to those that you feel better than when it feels unnatural, and then until it becomes natural to you to do khidmah and to do service and to humble oneself. To go to people and serve those people on their ground, not in a paternalistic way, but you go and serve them and you humble yourself until this kibr gets out of your heart. This is what Sheikh said. Rahmatullahi ta'ala. May Allah's mercy be upon Sheikh. This relates to this. The other relates to leadership. We have to be quick. Leadership. This is the first is our own individual relationship with Allah Ta'ala. Leadership. This ummah will never thrive as long as al-asabiyya is rampant amongst it. Likewise, success comes. As the Quran says, لَعَلَكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Divine mercy comes upon this ummah when we get this out of our hearts and we reconcile differences. Do you know at the first crusade, in 5 weeks, Crusaders killed 70,000 people when they raided Palestine and Al-Quds. We look at what we call now a genocide in Gaza. In 5 weeks, 70,000 people, according to Ibn al-Athir, with no bombs, no drones. 70,000. Majority of them Muslim, many of them Yahud, slaughtered by the Crusaders. For 98 years, Muslims cannot pray in Masjid Al-Aqsa. But in Baghdad, there was a great revival of ilm and tazkiyah. And when the Muslims got their hearts together, there were Africans, there were Arabs, and there were Turks, followed the leadership of who? Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Was Salahuddin al-Ayyubi Arab? La, he was Kurdi. He was Kurdi. Salahuddin was not Arab. It wasn't, I could not follow him. He could not be my emir. He could not be the general because he's not from my Kabila. Salahuddin is not Arab and I'm Arabi. So I can't follow Salahuddin. I'm Turkey, I can't follow Salahuddin because I'm from Turkey. I'm Habashi, I can't follow him because he's not Habashi man. And through this unity of the hearts, Allah Ta'ala honored that Jaysh, and they were able to take back Al-Quds from the Crusaders. And by Allah, we can't do that and liberate Palestine unless we have this type of heart set and unity amongst the Muslims. La yumkin, it has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with arms, no. It's never about numbers, about asbab, in and of itself. It's about our state with Allah Ta'ala that relates to our unity. The third is, and this is mentioned in Tafsir al-Qurtubi and also Ahkam al-Quran by Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn Arabi and others. And this narration comes in different wording by others such as Abu Dawud and others. This relates to this level here. Marriage. We have a marital crisis in our community. The fakir travels all across this country and Canada. Was last week speaking in London, in the UK. Qualified sisters, educated sisters, lonely and unmarried. And part of the problem is sometimes mothers and fathers block eligible men from coming to marry because they're not from the same Kabila or the same part of the country back home or from a different ethnic group. Rasul Alam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam addressed this too. Sayyidul Mu'adhinin Yawm al-Qiyamah Bilal al-Habashi radiyallahu anhu. It said he went to go and try to marry a woman from a tribe. He had more than one wife. Many Sahaba practiced ta'addu zawjat. They practiced polygyny. They had more than one wife. Unlike today, it's very, very rare and we demonize it. He went to an Arab tribe, Bani Bukayr, that asked to marry an Arab girl from the Ansar. He turned him down. Basically, Negro please. They turned him away. Sahabi Jalil Bilal. He relayed the story back to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ghadaba Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He got angry. Those men then came to him and asked him, do you have someone to marry our sister, messenger of God? فقال عليه السلام أين أنتم عن بلال? Where are you at regarding Bilal? Bilal's eligible. Bilal's a good man. Bilal's looking. They turned their back and walked away from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Another time they came back a second time. You have someone to marry our sister, someone else. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أين أنتم عن بلال? Where are you at regarding Bilal? They turned around and turned their back again on the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. La hawla la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Sahaba. They came back a third time and asked, do you have someone to marry our sister? Somebody else. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أين أنتم عن بلال؟ أين أنتم عن رجل من أهل الجنة؟ Allahu Akbar. Where are you at regarding Bilal? Where are you at regarding a man from the people of paradise? Then they relented and they let their sister marry Bilal, one of Bilal's wives. I suggest, my brothers, if someone eligible comes to marry your sister, your daughter, or you have a sister that you're wali looking after, if someone is upright, he can provide nafaqah, don't turn him away simply because of that. Don't turn him away simply because of that. We have an issue now of sisters not even getting married at all. Even worse in my area, I'm from Metro Detroit. We have a lot of Muslims, 300,000 Muslims. We have issues of sisters going to marry people who are not Muslims because la yajuz. We don't even recognize this as marriage. It's marriage according to the state of Michigan. It's really zina. Every time they sleep with that man, it's zina. Marrying Christian men, Jewish men. Ajib, we even have one strange case of Pakistani girl marrying Hindu. If anyone knows about Pakistan and India, the thing about the Muslims and Hindu, this is really Ajib. Pakistani marrying Hindu? So try to be a little more open-minded about this. Salman al-Farisi, Rahman was Persian. He married a noble woman from Bani Kinda. They're also from where? From Yemen. This was not something uncommon. The Prophet ﷺ actually performed these marriages and encouraged it. Does everyone need to marry outside their ethnic group? No, but in this particular time, we have, on a level of al-ijtima'iyya, we have a social need in America. And we need to make sure that we have healthy families and that our sisters don't become old and lonely, because the fakir fears that another 10 or 15 years, we're going to have a bunch of sisters reaching the age of senior citizens who haven't been married, who have no children, and they'll be left unprotected and be sent in nursing homes. That's not the way of the Muslims. That's not how we're supposed to look after our elders. So we need to keep this more, and if we block the halal, we push some of them towards the haram, believe me when I tell you. When we block the means of halal, you push your daughters to haram. نسأل الله العافية والسلامة. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله القائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أصلح أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم فرج عن أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم ارحم أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم انصر إخوانا في غزة وفلسطين وسوريا والسودان وفي كل مكان يا أكرم الأكرمين يا حنان يا منان يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث. سبحان ربك بالعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
صلوا صلاة محمد الصبح. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم قل أطيعوا الله ورسول فإن تولوا فإن الله لا يحب الكافرين إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين ذرية بعضها من بعض والله سميع عليم الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله 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 أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تكثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله 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 أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله